So next week, we are going to do the assignment, right? So you have to focus on this one, students. And the other thing is now once I teach you this one, okay, I expect you to do what I have taught you here, right? You may refer to other reference materials in the internet and all that, but then again refer to what I am sharing with you, and then you can do the relevant the necessary amendments or adjustments or whatever. But then again, when it comes to writing a CV and writing a cover letter, this is something very important that you should know when it comes to applying for jobs, right? So we'll start with this one. I hope my students who are joining online, you can see what I have shared on the screen. Yes?
Yes, madam.
Right, okay. So now, first and foremost, say what do you mean by a CV, right? So CV stands for curriculum vitae, which is Latin for course of life. That means you include every activity that is related to your professional life in this document. All right. And in some countries like India, South Africa, and Australia, a CV and a resume are interchangeably used. They use it either ways, right? However, in the United States and many parts of Europe, the CV is a detailed outline of your academic career and accomplishments. How to pronounce this word? Career, right? Career. You are not pronouncing it in other ways. Even today, I had an examination. Honestly, as a teacher who is teaching you this, you have to know the correct way to pronounce this. When I was conducting this online examination, they were just telling the other way around. No. Okay, so please pronounce it as career. Right? Okay. Now, two types of CVs, because it's you who's going to face interviews and all that, and you are going to get humiliated if you pronounce it in that way, right? Okay, there are two types of CVs. First one is skill focused. That means because තියනවා ළමයි. ඕගොල්ලෝ CV එකක් ලියනකොට Okay, so here, Lakshi joined online. Oh, yes. Right? Okay, so now the other thing is, students, when it comes to writing CVs, you have to pay attention to these two types of CVs. Now, for an example, when you are applying for a job which needs skills, you will have to focus on a skill-focused CV. Whereas, if they require you to mention about work-focused CV, then of course your CV should be amended, or you should include the information that are very much focused on your work life. But we'll look into these two types of CVs as well. දැන් අර තියනවානේ CV එකක් හදාගත්තාම හැම ජොබ් එකකටම ඒ CV එක ඒ විදිහටම කිසිම amendments නැතුව දාන්න. එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. When you are sending a CV, always first thing is you have to look into the advertisement that the company has published. Company එක publish කරලා තියෙන job advertisement එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ඉල්ලන තියෙන requirements මොනවද? කියන එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම බලන්න. ඊට අමතරව you have to see whether you have those qualifications with you. And then some qualifications qualifications cannot, I'm not talking about academic and professional, but then again, you know, skills and all that. Sometimes we put, okay, even if we don't have, sometimes, you know, we put, I'm good at this, I have Excel, this and all that. Not the professional, not the academic and professional experience. So you have to pay attention to the job advertisement that they have advertised. You have to adjust your CV according to the needs of that job job advertisement, right? So then skills focused. What kind of CV is this? Useful for career changers, school leavers, or people with gaps in work history. Now here, skill focused means you are going to focus on your skills here. So these kind of CVs are very good for the people who are changing their job, right? Changing their job in the sense, now for an example, if a teacher is changing her or his job role to a managerial position, of course, we will have to focus on our skills rather than the academic qualifications. Why? Because all this time we have been collecting academic qualifications related to our job role. But now what has happened? Now changing my job role to another, completely different one. Then I will be focusing on my skills. How skillful I am, right? Useful for career changers, school leavers. School leavers also, they can focus on skill focused CVs, and also people with gaps in work history. Then සමහර ඉන්නවා කාලයක් ජොබ් එකක් කරලා ටිකක් නැවතිලා සමහර යාගේ ස්ටඩීස් වලට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ නැවතිලා ආයි පටන් ගන්නකොට ළමයි ඕක ලේසි නෑ ගැප් එක බ්‍රිජ් කරන්න. ඒකනේ අපි හැම වෙලාවෙම කියන්නේ ස්ටඩීස් කරන ගමන් ඉන්ටර්න්ස් හරි වෙන්න කියන එක අපි කියන්නේ ඒකයි. Because when you apply for jobs, there will be a gap. They will ask, what did you do all this time? So if you say, I did my degree, so they will think, okay, you are not a multitasking person. You are unable to multitask. Only if it is studies, only studies. If it is job, only job. No, that is not how it should be. So here, people with gaps in work history. How about the work focus CV? Actually, there are skill focus CVs. ඔගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවා job advertisements තියෙනවා. School leavers like mostly preferable. School leavers, right? So they require that kind of people who are with less responsibilities, right? People who can stay late, right? And people who can work all 7 days a week. They require skill-focused people. In that case, students, those people should focus on skills. That means time management. Okay, and then when it comes to managing stress, all that based on skill-focused CVs, right? Because nobody can work 7 days a week unless they are very good at managing their time, managing their stress levels, and you know all that. Okay. How about work-focused CVs? Useful for showcasing work experience and for people progressing to the next stage in their career. Now, for an example, let's say I have been an intern for some time. Now I need to go to the next level. So there, what am I going to highlight? I'm going to highlight my academic qualifications, the qualifications that I have gained throughout my internship or throughout the years. And then, of course, I'm going to highlight my work experience there. What is my target there? To progress. Andumatarami salary එකෙන් හරි ටිකක් ඉහළට යන application එකක් තමයි එතන මගේ තියෙන්නේ නේද? මම හිතේ job එකට වැඩිය I'm trying to progress myself. So there, that is what you call a work focused CV. So depending on the situation, you may have to apply using a skill focused CV, or you may have to apply using a work focused CV. But most of the time, we use the work focused CV. Do you understand? Right? Is that clear to you? All right. Now we are going to focus on this one. Make your CV easy to read. How are you going to make your CV easy to read? Recruiters take 15 to 20 seconds to scan your CV. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවද දන්නේ නැහැ අපේ CA career fair එකට ආවහම right? ඒගොල්ලෝ හවස යනකොට මේ තරම් CVs ගෙනියනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ interviews ආපු අය. ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතනවාද වචනෙන් CVs කියලා no. What are they going to do? They are just going to scan what you have put there. Taggar educational qualifications බැලුවා, experience බැලුවා, whether they can be recruited or not. Then either take in or put out. Do you understand? So remember, recruiters take 15 to 20 seconds to scan your CV the first time. This time I'm talking about, first time. If you make a good impression, they read your CV more closely. So sometimes your CV may go to the second round and then third round. But once you go to the third round, like you know, they will go through your CV well. To make your CV look good, then පළවෙනිම දේ තමයි දැන් හිතන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ interview එකකට යනවා. You are going for an interview, right? You get dressed in the best way you can. But after 3 months, 4 months of working, you go very shabbily, wearing all those clothes that are not really impressive. Why is that? Because, first impression matters. First impression matters all the time. But my advice to you is, it doesn't matter whether you have spent 1 year, whether you have spent 5 years or 10 years at your job. Look good all the time. Look good, students, because they are not going to do a job. So you may meet your customers. Please look good. It's not only at the interview that you should look good. You have to look good throughout. All right. So when it comes to the CV also, it's the same. Your CV should look good and professional. Right? It's not going to be colorful with so many colors and too many letters, but then too many explanations, but then it should look good and professional. That's what matters. Use a black, easy to read font in one size. When you use the font, what kind of a font it should be? Are you going to use different colors and highlight and give all the colorful ideas to your CV? No. You have to make sure that you use a black, easy to read font in one size. Then make අහගෙන ඉන්න මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ CV එකක් ලියන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ CV එක template එකක් download කරගෙන CV එක කරන්න ඕනේ to the situation that I am giving you. එක එක්කෙනාට different situations දෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ situation එකට තමන් CV එක හදන්න. Right? So therefore pay attention to this. And not only because of the assignment, right? You will be using this until you stop working for a company. And then, are you going to write essays in your CV, students? Now I told you, the recruiters will be scanning your details. So if they are scanning your details, are you going to write passages and passages? No. Use short sentences and break up blocks of texts. You have to break them up, right? You are not using lengthy sentences to describe who you are. For an example, if you want to write, okay, I'm an undergraduate at San Campus, so then you have to write that information using the minimum number of words that you can use. I will show you. Use bullet points to list information. Now, for an example, if you are listing out your academic qualifications, of course, you have to start from your O levels and A levels, and then you have to write your academic qualifications. What you have to do is you have to write them in bullet points. You are not writing essays there in your CV. Write in bullet points, write it in the most shortest manner. Keep the tone formal. So keeping the tone formal is important. Why? Once again, this is a formal document. Avoid abbreviations, slang, or jargon. That means like words like I'm gonna start this program. Likewise, informal terms are not allowed in this curriculum written. And then have strong headings and lots of white space. Now, when it comes to the space, that means the background. You have to make sure that your background is white in color. Don't put different colors or don't fill your paper using different colors. Make it white so that it's very easy for the reader to read and understand. Letters in black, the space in white. Okay, maybe subheadings you can go with a different color, but then again, only keep your CV to 2 to 3 colors. That's the maximum. White, black, and another color. That's more than enough, right? Keep your CV to 2 pages maximum. The best CV is of course going to be 1 page. But suppose you have most of the time the academics, they have lengthy CVs because they put their researchers there. They mention their researchers that they have conducted and so on. So then, you know, most of the time it's going to get lengthier. But then again, always try to keep your CV into 1 page, just 1 page. Exceptional 2 pages. That's it, right? Then a CV must include. What should a CV include? Your name and contact details. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයාගේ නම තියෙන්න ඕන. නම නැතුව මොන දේ දැම්මත් වැඩක් නැහැ. And then your contact details. You should mention how can they contact you. දැන් අපිට CA එකට දීලා තියෙනවා සමහර numbers වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. කොහොමද අපි contact කරගන්නේ? email addresses දීලා තියෙනවා gmail නම් g එක නෑ mail.com විතරයි. එහෙම බෑ. You have to be very particular when it comes to writing a CV, and you have to be very serious when it comes to providing your details. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මේක serious ගන්න when you are providing details. If you are expecting them to call you, if you are expecting them to email you, provide them the correct details. Answer කරන phone එකක number එකක් දෙන්න. Right? එතකොට වැඩ කරන email එකක් දෙන්න, bounce back වෙන emails දෙන්න නැතුව. So here when it comes to your CV, your name and contact details. Technical and personal skills, or you can put them together and write what are the skills that you have, or else you can write them separately. ඒකත් මෙහෙමයි. Technical and personal skills ගත්තහම, for an example, if you are writing or if your CV is based on your skills, you can write about your personal skills. But if your CV is mainly, if your CV mainly focuses on your work experience or work details, then of course you have to write your technical, means the knowledge, the professional experience and you know, the academic qualifications and all that. That is a must. And then work and community and volunteer experience. This is also very important. Most of the people think, okay, if I gather some professional experience, or rather if I gather some academic qualifications, I'm done. I can apply to any job. No. Some people, they request you to mention volunteer experience that you have done, right? Which is important. And then qualifications and education, and also the referees. How are you going to include the referees in your CV? Referees are going to go over the CV. You have to first contact them, and then you have to tell them, I'm going to include your details in my CV. Get their approval. If they don't like, you have no right to put their details in your CV. Nobody would dislike, but then again, you have to take their approval. Do you understand? Once you receive the approval from them, ask them to send the details to you. නැතුව ඔයා යාගේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකකින් ගිහිල්ලා හරියට නැත්නම් LinkedIn එකෙන් හරි යාගේ ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් ගන්න නෙමෙයි. සමහර විට LinkedIn එක අප්ඩේට් වෙලා නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එයා දැන් වෙන ජොබ් වෙන තැන කම්පැනි එකක වැඩ කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Ask them to send the relevant details to you, and then they will send you. Insert only those details, because sometimes some people, they don't like to share their email address with anyone. Some people, they don't like to share their mobile number. If you put their mobile number without them knowing about it, so once again, it's going to be a problem. Do you understand? Therefore, ask them to send the relevant details to it. That is how you are going to get your referees confirmed. So you can include referees or note that referees are available on request. So most of the time students now, people think, they will not call these people, they will just accept my CV. No, don't think like that. Always, if it is a good company that you are applying for, they always call the referees and get things confirmed. Not only the referees, they call your workplaces as well. Because you know, they have their friends and colleagues and everybody everywhere. So they call and ask about your professional life. Okay, so you have to be concerned about that. A CV could also include an objective and personal statement. You can simply, by using one sentence, you can write the objective of your professional life. As a professional, what is your objective in life? Or else you can write about the personal statement, your personal statement related to your professional life. And then your achievements, right? If you have any exceptional achievements, of course, you can mention them in your CV. If you feel that this will help me to secure my job, of course, you can apply those achievements. Badminton, second run participation. Those are not achievements. But if you feel that now, for an example, sometimes achieving, or maybe now if you put up a paper for a conference and you get the first runner-up, or you become the winner, or you become you score an overall score above the whatever mark. So then, of course, those are achievements. Why? Because they can be applied to, they are applicable to what you are going to pursue in your career, right? And then your interests. What are your interests? What do you like to do when during your free time? Or are you interested in, finding about different things? So you can write them as well if you feel it is needed. And then job specific information. For example, a teacher will put their teaching philosophy on their CV, right? That means once again, what they are going to put is how they see teaching in themselves, right? So that is that. What not to put in your CV. What not to put in your CV කෙනෙකු ගන්නලා සමහරව assignment එකේදී මේක දානවා, especially date of birth. I mean, that's not really important, right? Having your date of birth is not really important. And even if you put your date of birth, your age is not really relevant. Why? For you to do a job, if you feel that you are good at doing that, so then of course age is not really relevant. But if you feel that, okay, I need to put my age, then no restrictions. Don't put colored or fancy fonts or designs. You are not putting different colors, fancy fonts, or designs. Okay, your date of birth or age, that is not very much important. Your marital status, religion, or bank account details. Now, normal students, people like these recruiters, they like employees who have less connections or who are not really attached to many connections. Why? Because normally they can be very much dedicated to their job role. So normally it's not really necessary to put your marital status, whether you are married, whether you are single, or whether it's complicated, whatever. That's not really important. Religion, not necessary at all, right? And your bank account details. You may give your bank account details once you get confirmed. But in the CV, you are not including that. Too much text and bad spelling. This is very important. Bad spelling. එක bad spelling එකක් තිබ්බොත් ඇති CV එක read කරන කෙනාට තේරුම් ගන්න මෙයා නම් responsible කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි කියන එක. Right? CV is something that decides your future. So if you are making mistakes in that document, How can they be sure that you would not do mistakes in other communications in the future? Please make sure that you don't do any bad spelling in your CV, and at the same time grammar mistakes, right? If you're not sure, give it to somebody and get it proofread and then apply. Or funny or rude email addresses. Mom, when it comes to email addresses. One day when I was opening, early morning Monday, when I was opening my email, right? That student, he has sent me an email asking for an extension for the assignment. What was the email address? Black Devil. I was wondering why Black Devil is calling me right now. Right? Black Devil is the name of the email address. So if you have some yes, Angel, whatever. Okay. So please make sure that you do not use those email. Delete කරන්න account එක delete කරලා තමන්ගේ නම තියෙන එකක් දාන්න. Okay, නම එතකොට දැන් සමහරවිට මගෙත් එහෙම තමයි my personal email address has my date of year of my birth. So it's okay because still I'm young, so it's all right. Oh my God. But right, so please change your username of the email address, or rather please change the email address of yours if those are funny and rude email addresses, right? Work experience or interests that are not relevant to the job. Then somehow ඕගොල්ලෝගේ job එකට කිසිම relevance එකක් නැති work experience එකක් තියන්න පුළුවන්. At the very beginning of your career, you may have some work experience that is not really related to what you're planning to do, right? So that is not really necessary, right? No need to put there. And the things that are not really relevant to the job that you are applying for. Lies about your experience and skills. So somehow මම වෙලේම කියන එකක් තමයි ඕන තරම් post මම personally දාන්න එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා BA in English කියලා දාගෙන ඉන්නවා. එයා ඒ ඩිග්‍රී එක ගත්තේ නැහැ. තාම එයා ඒ ඩිග්‍රී එක ගත්තේ නැහැ. එන්නට එයා BA in English කියලා දාගෙන classes කරනවා ළමයින්ට. Which is very bad. මම දන්න තව එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා එයා masters කරලා කියලා දාගෙන ඉන්නවා මේ universities දෙකක තාම complete නැහැ. Complete නැති කිසිම එකක අපිට දාන්න බෑ මොකක්ද ඒ name එක විතරක් කියනවා reading කියලා දාන්න ඕන. Reading කියලා දාන්න. Right? So be careful with such people, and you have to be very honest, because if they catch you with false information, of course, you are going to get disqualified. Do you understand? Be faithful first and foremost. Even if you get the job or not, you have to be loyal, right? And faithful. Okay. I'm sorry, you have to be honest. Okay, now we'll see what you are going to include in your CV. Then CV over the next week, right? I'm going to give you a scenario, each and every one of you, I'm going to give a scenario. Have you done assignments in this class for other subjects? The online ones, are they going to come here? Then I have to arrange it in the LMS, right? All right. No, because I have to get ready, Right. I will arrange it for them. And then, it's the overseas student. Now, Hassan, I was thinking today, because I had only your classes, so I was thinking whether I could get this session arranged online, but can't. Okay. Up to your favorites, okay. Huh? Right. Now, when you're writing now, what I'm going to do is for the assignment, I'm going to give you a scenario, right? A description about, a few descriptions about different people. What you have to do is, based on the details that I have given to you, you have to create their CV. They ask you based on the details that are now. For an example, I may give details about a manager related to accounting field and all that. Based on the details that I have given, right? You have to create their CV. That's what you are going to do. All right. So now we'll see what you should mention first. The very first thing that you have to mention is your name and the contact details, students. Right? Include first and last name. That is more than enough. Because normally in Sri Lanka, there are like 10 names for one person. You don't have to write all that. Just put the first name and the last name. The name that you always use and your surname. This should be in large and bold text. So that should be there. It should be visible very clearly to the person who reads it. Postal address including area code. So because then සමහර cities තියෙනවා ඒ නමම Galle පැත්තේ තියෙනවා කොළඹස් තියෙනවා. You may have to include your postal address, right? Phone number, email address. That's more than enough, right? And then optional job hunting profile link or maybe the LinkedIn link you can mention there, because most of the time students, rather than giving the hard copies, we tend to send the soft copy. So then you can include your LinkedIn profiles link as well. Your professional website or YouTube channel link. If you are doing any, now for an example, there are students who do, I have seen students doing, their day-to-day lessons in YouTube, right? They do it as presentations, which is really good, right? Which I really recommend them. So if you are doing such a YouTube channel, you can of course put the link there. So your recruiters, they will see the fruitful work that you do apart from your learning and also your professional life, right? So you can put there. And then next one is objective and personal statement. What is the objective that you have in your professional life? Either you can use the word objective. I don't think writing personal statement is really necessary. Just put objective and then write the objective by using only one sentence. That's more than it. An objective gives brief details about the type of work and role you would like and the industry you want to work in. So what are you going to include in this objective of yours? You have to mention, or you have to give a brief detail about the type of work and role you would like to do. All right. And also the industry you want to work in which kind of a field that you want to work in. And then a personal statement gives the employer an idea of who you are in 3 or 4 sentences. Maximum 2 sentences are enough. No need to go for 3 or 4. You can include what you are currently doing for employment or education. What is your current status? Now in this objective, these are the things that you should mention. What is your current status? For an example, as a chartered accountant, as an undergraduate in this, they know that you are doing this right now. This is your current status, right? What attracted you to the job you are applying for? Why are you passionate about applying for this particular job? Your reasons for applying this job and your career goals. What are your goals for this particular job? What are the goals that you want to really acquire within this job role? So you can include these information in the objective. Skills. This is very important. Inserting your skills. ඉස්සර මේ skills කියන එක අපි CVs වල දැම්මේ නැහැ. හැබැයි දැන් මේ skills කියන එක අපි දානවා අපේ curriculum එකේ. Right? CV එකේ අපි දානවා. We want to show that we are good at these skills. බලන්න අන්න ඒකත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් job advertisement එකේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝගෙන් expect කරන skills ඒකේ දාලා තියෙනවා. Technical skills වෙන්න පුළුවන්, personal skills වෙනවා. Now for an example, they may want you to be an expert in Excel. Likewise, those are technical skills. And also communication. time management. Those are personal skills, right? Likewise, the skills you put in your CV should be the same skills listed in the job advertisement. Remember that. Job advertisement එකේ දාලා තියෙන skills තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේකෙත් දාන්න. නැති ඒවා දාන්න එපා. ඒවට පොඩ්ඩක් දාන්න නැද්ද? පොඩ්ඩක් round කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ, right? Organized, communicates well, flexible, motivated, passionate. Passionate means you like to engage in this job, right? So these are so supported an environmental group, so supervised after school group. So if you want to show how flexible you are, these are supervised and after school group. Okay, coached a sports team. Likewise, these are some of the skills that you can insert in your CV. And then look at this example. We are looking for a conscientious self-starter proficient in Microsoft Office and how to pronounce this? This one? Adobe, right? Okay. Adobe Photoshop, who works well with others and can learn new computer systems easily. Now, if you find a statement like this in the job advertisement, students, so these are some of the keywords that you can gather from this statement. And then you can put these skills as your skills for this, right? Because, of course, it's obvious that none of us have all the skills in this world, isn't it? We don't have all the skills in this world, but you have to look at what they require from you, what they expect from you, and adjust your CV according to their requirement. ඒගොල්ලෝගේ requirement එකටයි ඔය CV එක යවන්නේ. නැත්නම් ඔයාට තියෙන ඒවා හිතුමනාපට යවලා බෑ. So here you can take the keywords from that and then write your skills. So now here I have put the personal skills and technical skills together. I will show you a way how to put this, right? When you download these templates, you will see them as well. Next, most important one is the work history, work or volunteer experience. So here, list your most recent jobs for work and volunteer experience first. Your work history needs to include the name of the employer. Now, when you are writing about your past experience, past professional experience, what should you mention? You have to mention the name of the employer, the company, name of the company, තියෙන්න ඕනේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්. Job title එක ඒ company එකේ ඔයා දාපු title එක මොකක්ද කියන එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙන්න. Where the job was located? කොහෙද? Now, for an example, if you take KPMG or Deloitte, there are so many branches all over the world. So you have to write where? Sri Lanka. If it is Sri Lanka, where? You can write there. Start date and end date. When did you start? When did you end? Because it gives the reader of your CV an idea for how long you have been working for this company. සමහර වෙනවා මාස 3යි. එතනින් එහාට නැහැ. සමහර probationary ඉවර වෙනකොටම අයින් වෙලා. එහෙම ඒවා තියෙනවා. So they are going to pay attention to that. You can't lie about these things. If you have worked for 2 months, then put it as 2 months. It's okay, right? But don't lie in your CV. And then beneath this, list the tasks you performed. Also, list any achievements. Also, students, apart from writing that, you can simply, by using one sentence, you can mention what was your contribution to that role in that company. ඔයා ඒ role එකට කොහොමද ඒ company එකේ ඉදි contribute කරේ කියන එක එක වාක්‍යකින් මට ඕනනම් ලියන්න පුළුවන්. I will show you how to write such statements. If you change job in the same organization, now for an example, after 1 year, once you get permanent in your job role, you sometimes might get promoted as well. So in the same company, for within few years, you have got yourself promoted. So you can mention that as well. So getting promoted in the same company is a plus point for you. Do you understand? And at the same time, if you leave a company within a very short period of time, that is a negative point for you. Okay, so you have to make sure that when you work, ඕනම රස්සාවක් කරොත් ළමයි ඕනම තැනක ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. ප්‍රශ්න නැති තැනක් නැහැ. ස්ට්‍රෙස් එක කියන එක උඩරිමයි ඕනම කෙනෙක්ට. එතකොට වර්ක් ලෝඩ් එක තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා තියෙනවා නැත්නම් නැත්නම් ඉතින් එහෙනම් මේක සුබ සාධන සංගමයක් හරි මොකක් හරි හැම වෙන්න ඕනේ ෆ්‍රී ඔෆ් charge ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ සේවය ලබා දෙන්න. හිතුන වෙලාවට හිතුන දේකට. එහෙම නෙමෙයි. So you are working for a salary and so they are also trying to take the maximum from you while you also ask maximum from them. So then always try to work for one company for some time. Okay, for some time. Don't just because this, I'm telling you this, I'm advising on this because I have heard people say, "Ayyo, मैं एक थाने का मास हायर पर पैर कर लेने हैं निकी." ये तो मौका देवें नहीं. අපි ආව recruit කරනකොට අපිට doubt එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි මෙයාව train කළා, ඔක්කොම දේවල් කරලා මෙයා ටික දවසකින් ගියොත් කියන එක අපිට හිතෙනවා. Right? So that's why you have to be very responsible in whatever the job that you do. Okay? So let's working period is a negative point for you. Promotion, getting promoted in the same workplace is a positive point for you. Do you understand? And then, if you change jobs in the same organization, include both job titles and roles. You now, for an example, a person might be a manager in one division, and later, so after some time, she or she becomes the manager of another division. That is possible. So you can mention. You don't need to list all your work history. Or then අපි හිතමු අවුරුදු 20ක් ගිහිල්ලා අලුතෙන් job එකකට apply කරනකොට අර අවුරුදු 20ේම කරපු ඒවා ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Just mention only the very recent ones that is related to the job that you have applied. You don't need to list all your work history. Keep your CV short. Always remember, keep your CV short. Qualifications. List your qualifications or education in the qualification section of your CV. So you can have two parts under qualifications. First one is going to be your educational qualifications and then the professional qualifications. අපි හිතමු ඒ දෙක ඔයාලට වෙන කළා ලියනකොට professional qualification එකේ professional qualifications කියන්නේ most of the time work experience. දැන් ඕගොල්ලොන්ට නම් අපි හිතමු academic qualifications කියලා ගත්තහම ගන්න පුළුවන් degree එක A-levels, O-levels. But then again, if you're reading for your charter, that is a professional qualification, right? Which helps you to do your job better or to progress in your job role better. So then those are professional qualifications. And apart from that, you have to mention your work experience as well. So sometimes, now suppose you have only one professional experience and others are your degree, postgraduate, masters, whatever it is, so you can combine both together and write. You don't have to write one sentence for professional qualifications and leave it out, right? Put them together. So here, school subjects with grades, O-levels and A-levels. Now, this is important, especially for school leavers, right? When they don't have much of the things to write under educational qualifications, they can put their O-level subjects and the grades, A-level subjects and the grade. But when you are writing something like this, you can put advanced level examination, the year you did, and the stream that you follow. That's more than enough because at the interview, they will go through your research sheet. Do you understand? Because there are some more important things that you have to mention. Other than A-levels, you have to put that you are an undergraduate and all those things. Those are more important than that. So when it comes to that, you can only put the name of the examination, the year you did, sometimes the index number, and the stream, right? Certificates, diplomas or degrees, and then work-based training. Sometimes you may have gone through different kinds of trainings and then you may have earned bachelors, you may have earned qualifications out of them. So then work-based trainings, very important training. Some people, they go abroad for trainings, right? So which are sometimes very important, and sometimes within the country, you may go through different kinds of trainings that are important for your job. So you can mention them as well under qualifications. Professional development courses, conferences and workshops, online courses. You are not going to write conferences that you attended so long ago. A very recent conferences, if you have attended, you can mention them. Format of qualification section. Then maybe format එක කොහොමද ලියන්නේ? දැන් අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා කතා කරා what did we write? Okay, so we wrote about your work. I mean, how are you going to write down your work experience, the format of your work experience? How are you going to write your educational qualifications? List the newest to most relevant qualifications first. මුලින්ම ඔයගොල්ලෝ O level කරා කියලා O level එක නෙමෙයි උඩින්ම දාන්න. උඩින්ම දාන්නේ මොකක්ද? The latest qualification. Do you understand? After that only towards the end of A levels come, and then after that only O levels come. Do you get my point? උඩින්ම දාන්නේ the newest qualification, the most recent qualification. So here, name of the course. First you have to write the name of the course. That සමහර ළමයි ඉන්නවා ඒගොල්ලෝ follow කරන degree එකේ නමවත් හරියට දන්නේ නැහැ. මම මේ CVs mark කරනකොට දැකලා තියෙන දේවල්. දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද follow කරන degree එකේ නම. ඉතින් කොහෙද මේ subject pass වෙන්නේ? හරියට බලා ගන්න මොකද්ද ඔයා follow කරන degree එකේ නම. ඊට පස්සේ name of the institution. මොකක්ද දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ කියන දැන් අපි හිතමු සමහර කැම්පස් තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නේ නැහැ ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝගේ initials වල ඒ කියන්නේ අර term එකෙන් ගියාම තමයි they know that okay this is sub campus, right? But it's always better, students, if you write the lengthy version or the real name of the particular institute, and within brackets you can write the short form. Write the standard version and then write the short form. That is better. Do you understand? So that everybody knows. Name of the course provider. Name of the course provider means the institute that you are attending, right? The institute. And then where you study. Is it in the Galle branch or is it abroad? Where? You have to write the address in the sense you're not writing the whole address now. When it comes to this one, Colombo 5. You have to write that. Okay? And then start and finish date. Date here means writing the year is enough. For an example, 2023 to present. If you are still an undergraduate. If you have finished this, so 2019 to 2022, something like that. Start and finish date of your training or study, or the year you graduated. And then if you feel that there are achievements of yours which should be included in your CV, you can put your achievements as well. Include an achievement section in your CV. If you have important achievements that aren't covered in the skills or work history section. So if you feel that having your achievements in the CV is good, you may include them as well. You can include such things as awards and commendations. You can put awards and then you can write them. Now, for an example, you may become the overall performance, best overall performance, which is a good achievement of yours, right? So you can put them here under achievement section, successfully completed projects, and then we are coming to the referees, the final part. Referees talk to employers about your skills, work history, and personality. Referees like a role like a they are the ones who are responsible in telling about the skills that you had during your work in that particular company or that particular organization, your personality, how dedicated you were, whether you were a loyal person, whether you were a trustworthy personality. So they will inform that to these people, recruiters. You need at least 2 referees. You need at least 2 referees. 1 referee should be your current manager. The current manager again, අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම referee එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හොත් එයා ගන්නවා යන්න තමයි මේ සැකසෙන්නේ. So ඒක කරන්න අමාරුයි. මම එහෙම කරලා මස්ට් වෙබ් චෙක් කෙනෙක් ඒ නිසා මම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Team leader or or work experience supervisor, you can actually go to one of your lecturers, head of the divisions, especially when it comes to, if you are an if you are a graduate or an undergraduate. Likewise, you can of course go to the head of the division, the dean of a particular educational organization. Likewise, you can go. So really, I don't really recommend going to the current manager, because then of course they know that you are about to leave. And then the most unfortunate thing is, if you don't get that job, you will have to stay with him or her, and then the war starts. So there no need of it. And then of course other referees could be a former employer, a place that maybe that you took intern. A former employer is fine. A teacher or a principal, respected community leader. ඔගොල්ලෝගේ පන්සලේ හාමුදුරුවෝ ඒගොල්ලෝ පුළුවන්. ඔගොල්ලෝ පන්සලට යනවා නම් විතර පුළුවන්. දැන් නැත්නම් හාමුදුරුවෝ සෙමිනරිය දාලාද? සෙමිනරියට ගියා? කියන පොඩි පාදිකා. Right. So how are you? What is the format of your referees? Referees ලට තමයි format එකක් තියෙනවා. විතර ඒවා දාන්න බෑ referees ලට, right? The first name and the last name. Job title. What kind of a job do they hold? And then organization they work for. And then phone number and the email address. These things should be mentioned under the details of the referee. හරිද? when it comes to writing CVs next to it. I'm going to give the assignment next, right? And when you are coming for the assignment, please bring a piece of paper. Piece of paper in the sense it's better if you can bring a full scan, so that you can write it and then finalize it and then write the thing. This is how it's going to be. You are going to write the CV. Then scenario you have to develop the curriculum written, and then you are going to give that to me. Then do it. I'm going to correct it. Areas where you have gone wrong, the formats that have gone wrong, the details that have not mentioned in your CV. So I return කරාට පස්සේ ඒ වැරදිත් ඔක්කොම හදාගෙන තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ ටෙම්ප්ලේට් එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ හදන්න. ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගෙන ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකෙන් you can do that. Right? Okay. Look at this one. Look at this one. So now, how many colors are there normally now? And the other thing, students, that I want to tell you, for an example, if you select blue, now here in this CV they have selected blue, right? When you analyze the way how they have put the colors, you will understand that there is a consistency. මේ CV එක ලියනකොට හැම තිස්සෙම consistency එකක් තියෙනවා. Then method KPMG කියන එක, it's in blue, maybe we'll take it as flashy blue or something. And here once again the name again in the same color. That the make එක පාටක්. Make understand යම් make there should be a consistency. And then here once again the name should be in the same color. If you are using one color to represent the companies that you work for, then of course there should be a consistency throughout. It depends. If you feel no need of putting colors, then no need. What I'm saying is, when you go through this one, make it the consistency. එකම විදිහට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Font එකක් විදිහට මේක එක font size එකක් මේක තව font size එකක් වෙන්න බෑ. When you are doing the template only you will understand this one, right? Template එකකට feed කරපු information තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක attention දෙන්නේ. එනිසා remember all these should be consistent, right? Now here can you see how they have put how this person has put his language skills, right, in dots. And then here read this one. Have a look at this one. There is the name. Name is here. Okay. And then the strengths, problem solving, communication, leadership. These are the strengths that this person has, which will contribute to the job. Job will contribute to skills we make in strengths. Right? So these strengths she has. And then the skills. The skills that will contribute to progress in the job role. Financial analysis, budgeting, MS, Excel, QuickBooks, so and so. Certifications. The certifications she has completed recently. And then passion, what she likes to do. So these are optional. The things that are mentioned here in this is optional. But here, this is where the most focus should go on. Are you listening or laughing? So, now what is her job role at the moment? She's an experienced accountant in auditing and financial analysis. Right now, she's that. Okay? So, this is her email address. The link is there, and you can put the address, right? Thank you. And then the summary. What is summary? The objective. Rather than writing summary, I think it's better if you put the objective. Okay? Even if you put summary, that's okay. Because summary is like, summary of the CV. It's not summary about the CV. It's about the objective of your professional career. So you can put objective. And then make it the experience. Right? Why? Because there are jobs that look for experience more than the academic qualifications. Do you understand? They need experienced employees. So that you can put experience first. Now, if you take the role of an academic, for an example, a lecturer or a teacher, what should they focus on? Of course, they should have experience. That is true. But they have to focus on their academic, right? So here, experience, senior accountant, the job role, the designation, where they have worked, which year to which year, and where, the address, right? As I told you before. And then here, in bullet points, in very short, he has mentioned what was his role at this company. එතකොට මේව මෙන්ෂන් කරනකොට කොහමද from the very recent job to the older. හරිද? ළඟදීම තිබ්බ job role එකේ ඉඳලා තමයි පහළට යන්නේ. නැතුව මුලින්ම කරපු එක නෙමෙයි මුලට එක. Do you understand? So the most newest job to the oldest. And then accountant. He has been an accountant for some time. Okay, I am laughing. Hey. So you can be a junior accountant and then you can be an accountant. You can become senior accountant. Why are you laughing? Okay. Ernst & Young, and then from this year to this year, Paris, France. Yeah. So this is for, and also remember, then බලන්න මේකේ consistency එක ළමයි මම මේ ඔයගලන්ට උගන්වන්නේ consistency එක කොච්චර වැදගත්ද කියන එක. හැම එකේම points තුනයි අර තියෙන්නේ. එකක 10ක් තිබිලා අනිත් එකේ දෙකක් තියෙන්නේ. Do you understand? Always remember maintain. 2 you want to take a call, go outside and read. Okay. So maintain the consistency. Having the consistency is important, right? Because your CV describes who you are. Because the first thing they get to their hands is your CV, students. CV therefore, this should make some impression. So then, here the consistency is very important. Maintaining a professional look is important. Having zero errors in your CV is important. Having no spelling mistakes is important, because that is the impression, that is the perfection that you are showing them from your CV. Okay, right. So this is how I have put the work experience, and then I'm coming to the education. Master's degree in accounting at Harvard University from this year to this year, Massachusetts and USA. Bachelor's degree in accounting, University of Oxford, okay, and then the languages. And the other thing is, I will show you another way that you can put the skills. Maybe here the skills done for you, right? In linear way or in dots. Now this is one, okay? Let's look at the other one. Right? Look at this one. So I wanted to take some templates that are related to you, right? Your profession. So that's why I have taken them here. Right? So at the moment, he's a chartered accountant and also a tax compliance expert. Okay. Summary. So this is more or less the same when you compare with the previous one. Now here, these are some of the skills. Right? That he has gained. But students, what I really prefer is that now if you write your, when you take a template, it's always better if you can mention your skills. Now, actually, these are downloaded ones, right? These are not one I have created. Both of these are downloaded templates, so there can be few errors here and there, but they are compared to other templates that I went through, they are really good, right? So the other thing is, I don't know whether you have seen when it comes to these CV templates, they give some space to put your skills in percentages. I don't know, now when you go through these templates, you will see. It's better if you can go through such a template, because then you don't have to focus much on writing about your skills. Just mentioning a percentage is enough about the skills that you have, right? So this is that. Okay, you can go through these two. Okay, writing your cover letter. We will discuss about this after taking a short break. This is not a lot, only because last time, in my previous batch, so they got to write a cover letter. Cover letter එකක් ලියන්න කියලා question එකේ තියෙනකොටම සමහර මොකද්ද CV එකක් ලියනවා. 0 marks out of 25. Out of 25 marks, 0. Why is that? Because they don't read the question. Cover letter එක ලියන්න කියලා question එකේම දීලා තියෙන. I will share with you some sample papers. ඒගොල්ලන්ට දීලා තියෙනවා job advertisement එකක්. ඒගොල්ලන්ට මම දුන්නා job advertisement. ඒ job advertisement එකට cover letter එකක් ලියන්න කියලා තමයි question එකේ තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි මොකද්ද ගිහිල්ලා ලියුවේ? CV එක. 0 marks. Why? not relevant, does not address the question. Question is addressed. This subject is not difficult, really. This subject is not difficult, but the thing is, what matters is your output. If you are very good at your language, right? And if you have some kind of understanding of what I have taught here, then of course you can manage the subject. Over semester 1 first year now you have to be a little bit improved, and we have to maintain those standards. So A plus improve. We expect you to be better than that you were in your first semester, right? So the question paper is going to be difficult. It's going to be very descriptive. Knowledge test. Take this serious. The subject is not difficult, but what matters is your output. Okay, and doing well at your assessments. Assessments are අඩුම තරමින් ලකුණු 20ක්වත් ස්කෝර් කරන්න. අඩුම මම කියන්නේ. හරි. හැබැයි එහෙමයි කියලා කිසිම දෙයක් අපි හිතමු 35ක් තියෙනවා කියලා assignments වලට එහෙමයි කියලා don't think that you can neglect the paper and do whatever you want. If you have not written well your paper, I'm not going to give you marks. No other options, because they are going to be second markers, so they will think that I'm a fool to give marks like that, right? So please be concerned about what I'm teaching here. CV එක ලියනකොට මේ ගන්න පේව හරියට මම හිතියා. සමහරුන්ගේ කවල් මොකක්ද කියන්නේ CV එක ලියනකොට ටෙම්ප්ලේට් එකේ අච්චර මම හදලා දුන්නාට පස්සේ ටෙම්ප්ලේට් එකේ අවුරුද්ද නැහැ. ඉගෙන ගන්න ඉන්ස්ටිටියුට් එක නැහැ. You can't be careless like that. You have to be responsible, right? You can have all the fun and all the good times, but at the same time, your focus should be on doing good. Doing a good job at these subjects as well. Okay, right? We'll go for a short break. Now it's 4:50. Come back by 4:30. Right? We'll continue with our. What's that?
Ile paling kan bang mereka tahu hari itu एक आगे प्रश्न एक तीस पीटी सुनती ना या आकार के वाली Hello, क्या देखा मुझे Thank you.
What's for this? This attendance Miss online naman siya, dami like ako. Online naman siya, napasa yun. Kasi pa,
Mark your Okay. All right. We are coming to cover letter. So this is not a very big lesson, right? I'm just going to take you through what should be included in a cover letter, and that's it, right? Now, your cover letter is your opportunity to explain your prospective employer why all the information in your CV and background makes you the perfect choice for them. Now, you may wonder, why should I put the CV as well as the cover letter? Now, remember, students, in your CV, you are mentioning everything in bullet points, in short form. But when it comes to the cover letter, you are going to be descriptive, and there you are not going to mention everything that you have mentioned in the CV. But you have to tell them why you are the most suitable applicant for this job. That is what you are going to do in the cover letter. You are going to convince them that you are the best option that they have when it comes to applying, when it comes to selecting candidates for this application, right? Advertisement, or rather the job advertisement. So here, to write an effective cover letter, you need to know the answers to two different whys. There are two whys that you have to answer in your cover letter. Cover letter එකකදී මෙන්න මේ දෙකට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයගොල්ලෝ උත්තර සැපය යුතුයි. මොකක්ද? Why they should pick you. Okay. Now you may include your academic qualifications, but you are not going to mention that you have done your O levels, you have done your A levels, you have all those foundation courses and all that. What are you going to mention? You are going to mention the most important qualification that is suitable for the job application. Do you understand? But in the CV, you have mentioned all that. Do you get my point? When it comes to experience, you are not going to mention all the experience that you have included in your CV. You are going to mention the most appropriate or the most newest relevant experience for the relevant job. Do you get my point? So that is how you are going to convince them that you are the best option that they have for this particular job. So why they should pick you? You have to convince them using your cover letter why they should select you as the employee or the relevant candidate, right? Why you want this job role with this organization? You have to tell them why you want this job from them. That is maybe because they are a renowned company in the particular field, or maybe it could be because of their well-known brand name, right? And a well-recognized organization. You have to first tell them why you want this job. Okay, and then the only way to figure out the answers to these why is to do some research. That's your first step. So remember, when you're writing the cover letter, sometimes you may use the same CV for 2, 3 job applications, but you can't use the same cover letter for 2, 3 jobs. Do you understand? For each and every job, you will have to personalize the details according to the relevant company. So there, first and foremost, you have to find a little bit about this company. You should know who they are, what do they, how do they contribute, and what is their relevant field. You have to have some kind of understanding about the company before writing the cover letter. And then only you have to say why you want this job and why they should pick you as the most appropriate person, right? So research, when it comes to research, to convince the employer that you are just who they are looking for. මොකද ළමයි කිසිම කෙනෙක් කැමති නැහැ තමාගේ කම්පැනි එකට ඇප්ලයි කරනකොට ඒ කම්පැනි එක කිසිම විද්‍යාවක් දාන්නේ නැති කෙනෙක්ව රික්‍රූට් කරන්න කැමති නැහැ. Right? They should have some kind of background knowledge. Okay? So to convince the employer that you are just who they are looking for, you need to figure out what it is they are looking for an applicant. So what are they looking from an applicant? You have to know that. It's worth it. The result of your research will not only help you to put together the most effective CV and cover letter possible. When it comes to writing the cover letter. Now this is important. This is the format that you have to follow when it comes to writing a cover letter. Right? When you are writing the cover letter, when it comes to the paragraph 1, when it comes to the first, oh sorry, I have not shared this thing. Okay, so when it comes to writing your cover letter, the first thing that you have to mention is the position you are applying for, and tell the employer how you found about this position, right? First and foremost, you have to mention about the position that you are applying for, and then mention how you got to know about this position, right? That comes under the first paragraph. When it comes to paragraph 2, in this paragraph, focus on what you can offer them in the role you are applying for. මුලින්ම ඒගොල්ලෝගෙන් ඔයා මොකද්ද බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ කියන එක මෙන්ෂන් කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඔයාට මොනවද ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියන එකයි මෙන්ෂන් කරන්න. You have to be very positive on that, right? First mention them how you would contribute to improve their organization. So in this paragraph, focus on what you can offer them in the role that you are applying for. You should focus on the key aspects of the job description. How are you going to focus on paragraph 2? Read the job description first. Job role. So then focus on the job role and then write your paragraph 2. Right? What the company is more seeking in someone who will be successful in this position. Now, respond to it by describing how the previous experience, skills, values, or motivations you have could make you awesome in the role and contribute to the company. Tell them how your educational qualifications, how your previous experience will help you to contribute to this company. Right? Taking them as well as your examples, you have to write your second paragraph. First, you have to focus on your contribution to the company. How will you contribute? Paragraph 3. This one starts to use your research, the research that you have done. Right? You need to tell the prospective employer why you want to work for them. Tell them why you are so interested in applying for this particular job. Because you have to convince them that you are really putting this job application knowing who they are. ඒගොල්ලෝ කවුද කියලා දැනගෙන තමයි job application එක දාන්නේ. නැත්නම් දැක්ක පමණින් මාට job එකක් අවශ්‍ය වෙච්ච පමණින් දානවා කියන intention එක ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න එපා. You have to show them that I am purposefully applying for this particular job role because I'm interested in this, right? You have to show them that you are interested about their company and working for their company. All right. So under paragraph 3, you will be writing about the research that you have done. Paragraph 4. This is once again going to be something easy. This is where you open a dialogue with your potential employer. You are going to open a dialogue with them. First, note the documents that you have attached in a brief sentence. For an example, you can say, please find my curriculum vitae and application form enclosed if you are sending an email. Sometimes you may have to send the hard copies to, especially to this government job, so then you can mention that as well. I appreciate your consideration and look forward to discussing this opportunity with you further. Remember, in your cover letter, you are not going to mention I don't have a sample here. I'll try to put a sample as well. Right? Now remember, when you are writing a cover letter, students, you are not going to write what you want from them. That is done at the interview. Right? That is what you are going to discuss at the interview. You can ask them about the working hours. You can ask them about the salary and the benefits that you will gain from working for this company. You are not going to put about that, right? It's not that you are not considerate about those information, of course. Otherwise, we would have stayed at home. No, if we don't want a salary, we would have stayed at home because we need a salary. We are applying for this particular job and also at the same time, in order to improve our career, right? For the growth of our career, we are applying for better jobs every day. So you are not going to write what you want from them here in the cover letter. What are you going to focus on? You are going to focus on what you can give to this particular company. You have to be very positive when it comes to writing the cover letter. Do you understand? Right? So I'm not going to very much focus on writing a cover letter. The thing is that because now you know what the content should be in the cover letter. And that is how you will be writing a cover letter. I will upload a sample cover letter as well. If I can find it, of course, I will. I have not attached any sample cover letters here. Yes. So any questions before we go to the next lesson about CV writing, cover letter writing? So now here I have given you some verbs. Actually, you will not be using these verbs. You don't have to really focus on all the details. Here I have given the verbs that you can use when you are writing about your leadership skills. When you are writing about your learning skills. For an example, you can, and also management skills. You have administered a team of this kind of people at this time, okay? And then you were appointed as likewise, right? So there can be verbs that are not relevant, but once again, I just put some verbs. So just go through them and see what are the verbs that you can write. Do you get my point? Right? So this is the lesson that I have for you when it comes to CV writing. I want you to go through this lesson very well and come on the next day because we are going to do the assignment. And for the students who are joining abroad and who are joining online, I will facilitate it online. Any questions? Any questions before we go to the next activity? Actually, we need not do any listening activities, right? We're going to do some listening today. It's okay. Let's go to the classroom. All right. So this listening track is also about writing CVs. While you are listening, think of what we learned. Listening task of CV writing ගැන තමයි. ඒකෙනුත් යම් කිසි දෙයක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Can you Write this down. Quickly write this down. And hold up when you want to challenge. Write this down. Now, while listening to the track, you have to fill this page. Okay? Hurry up. Hurry up. Mang upload karana inka ko bolo print out karani. Kau sih students में 11 से दिखाओ. Yes, 1 and 2 they are in street. Saturday, Sunday mami na ah. And right, we have to start the next lesson as well. Activity. So listen to the personal officer talking about the do's and don'ts of writing series. Please make notes on the following points. Personal details, do's and don'ts. Personal details So you have to write that. Education, qualifications, work experience, and photographs. Right? Okay. Next one is Lisa. Here, fill in the blanks. Only 4, 5. Students who are joining online, I believe you are engaging with the activities. Project they have another that. This. How we shall. Three. Huh? संपूर्ण लेवल तक then you will get inflate from all. Communication is the transition examination subjects. Yeah? Shall we listen to the audio? Okay. Right. Okay. Let's listen to the track then, right? So I will be playing it twice. So within the 2 times, you have to do both activities, right?
Unit 2, Tape Script 2. So, tell us about CVs then, Marika. What are the key things to include?
Well, you should start with brief personal details, of course. You know, name, age, and so on. Marital status is okay too, but no names of children or pets.
And next comes education, I suppose.
Yeah. You ought to list the schools and institutions you've attended in chronological order. Make sure that the dates make sense. Don't forget details of the qualifications you obtained. Remember to put down your grades too.
I see. And would you advise people to include copies of their qualifications and so on?
No, they don't need to do that. Not at this stage.
Uh-huh. Right. Now for the part of the CV which deals with work experience. Should we go through this in chronological order or start with the most recent or current job first?
I would definitely say begin with a present or most recent job first, then work backwards. Give a brief description of each job and try to list 1 or 2 achievements.
That's hard if you're still a student, isn't it?
True, but you can still mention things like, I was secretary of the Anglo-German Society, or give details of any part-time or holiday jobs.
Oh, and one last question. What about a photograph?
Well, it can go on an application form or with a covering letter, but there's no reason why you can't put it on your CV. If I were a job seeker, I'd invest in a studio photograph, one that made me look as good as possible, rather than one from a machine. And of course, never send a picture of you on the beach or at a party. People have sent me some amazing things.
Okay. Second time.
Unit 2, Tape Script 2. So, tell us about CVs then, Marika. What are the key things to include?
Well, you should start with brief personal details, of course. You know, name, age, and so on. Marital status is okay too, but no names of children or pets.
And next comes education, I suppose.
Yeah. You ought to list the schools and institutions you've attended in chronological order. Make sure that the dates make sense. Don't forget details of the qualifications you obtained. Remember to put down your grades too.
I see. And would you advise people to include copies of their qualifications and so on?
No, they don't need to do that. Not at this stage.
Uh-huh. Right. Now for the part of the CV which deals with work experience. Should we go through this in chronological order or start with the most recent or current job first?
I would definitely say begin with a present or most recent job first, then work backwards. Give a brief description of each job and try to list 1 or 2 achievements.
That's hard if you're still a student, isn't it?
True, but you can still mention things like, I was secretary of the Anglo-German Society, or give details of any part-time or holiday jobs.
Oh, and one last question. What about a photograph?
Well, it can go on an application form or with a covering letter, but there's no reason why you can't put it on your CV. If I were a job seeker, I'd invest in a studio photograph, one that made me look as good as possible, rather than one from a machine. And of course, never send a picture of you on the beach or at a party. People have sent me some amazing things.
You want me to play it again? Okay.
Unit 2, tape script 2. So, tell us about CVs then, Marika. What are the key things to include?
Well, you should start with brief personal details, of course. You know, name, age, and so on. Marital status is okay too, but no names of children or pets.
And next comes education, I suppose.
Yeah. You ought to list the schools and institutions you've attended in chronological order. Make sure that the dates make sense. Don't forget details of the qualifications you obtained. Remember to put down your grades too.
I see. And would you advise people to include copies of their qualifications and so on?
No, they don't need to do that. Not at this stage.
Uh-huh. Right. Now for the part of the CV which deals with work experience. Should we go through this in chronological order or start with the most recent or current job first?
I would definitely say begin with a present or most recent job first, then work backwards. Give a brief description of each job and try to list 1 or 2 achievements.
That's hard if you're still a student, isn't it?
True, but you can still mention things like, I was secretary of the Anglo-German Society, or give details of any part-time or holiday jobs.
Oh, and one last question. What about a photograph?
Well, it can go on an application form or with a covering letter, but there's no reason why you can't put it on your CV. If I were a job seeker, I'd invest in a studio photograph, one that made me look as good as possible, rather than one from a machine. And of course, never send a picture of you on the beach or at a party. People have sent me some amazing things.
So we are finally, when it comes to including your photograph, right? So these are real experiences that even I have gone through. You know, some people, when we ask them to send their photograph, sometimes for maybe for the student records or anything very professional. හරිද? Photo එකක් එවනවා මල් ගහක් පිටිපස්සේ. These are real scenarios that I have gone through. Please don't do those things, right? Or they have cropped the photo. තව කෙනෙක්ගේ මූණෙන් භාගයක් අර crop කරපු එකේ තියෙනවා photo එක. Selfie එකක් ගහපු එකක හරි මොකක් හරි. Please make sure that your photograph have one. හැබැයි අනිත් එකකුත් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි අර 5 වසරේ 6 වසරට ඇතුළත් වීමේ photo එක ගහපු එක එවන ළමයිනුත් ඉන්නවා. මේ අන්තිම මම මේ කියන්නේ. So please students just pay like 1,000 rupees or 1,200 rupees, go to a studio and take a professional photograph. Over the graduate once you graduate, you know, of course, you will have a formal photograph, a professional looking photograph, right? Even that, I have seen students sending their graduation photograph. පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන BMICH එක. එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Send us a photograph where you have taken it at a studio. Do you get my point? So these are not real jokes. So make sure that your CV or whatever a photograph that you send to a company in your professional context, that the photograph looks professional. Do you understand? Invest some money on that because you can use it. Right? Okay. All right. These are the answers. I will share the answers. So you don't have to send copies of qualifications at that level. When you are sending the CV, unless they ask you to send the copies of qualifications, that is not really necessary. At the interview, you can produce these copies, right? So these are the details according to the listening track that we listen to, right? The audio that we listen to. So remember, the school attended should be in the chronological order. Your work experience should be in the chronological order. And the other thing is, dates should make sense. Then CV writing. When you are writing your own, sometimes you will calculate the years and then write. But when it comes to writing CVs for the assignment, once again you have to make sense about the dates. Be clear how would that? Right? Just think and be very critical about those dates. Okay, and then. අපිට තියාගන්න listening වල photographs දාගත්තට listening පුරුදු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ටැක්ට් එකට අහුම්කම් දීලා උත්තර කියලා හරි වැරදි බැලුවයි listening improve it. Point of your brain. Okay, right. So we'll go to the next lesson. Right. This is the lesson that we have today. You want to share? How can we get rid from this? Hassan, help me. Huh? I don't mind anybody helping me. Diana, this is there, but I want to share this with my. Double tap. Double tap? There. Hello. Here you go. It's not like, you know. All right, so we are going to do being proactive and independent. How to be proactive and at the same time, how to be independent. That means, students, you have to make sure that you motivate yourself. Now, for an example, in the first semester of your first year, you might have been really motivated about the program and so. You might have put new covers to your books, colored pens and pencils and all that, regular attendance. But towards the first semester of the second semester, right? Not very much interested, very bored, and then not going through the tunes, always on the phone, not paying attention to lectures, because I can see that, right? So being proactive, how? Because keeping the momentum, making yourself or keeping yourself motivated until you achieve the goal is important. You see, there can be some dropouts in this course. There can be some dropouts. One, because they did not have the same motivation to complete. I mean, they had the motivation to start the program, but they did not maintain the same motivation until they achieved the goal. So that cannot be done, students. If you start something, you have to start by thinking twice, whether I'm going to start this or not. So if you are investing your time, money, energy, everything, hopes of your parents, your future, everything, if you are investing on this one, you have to make sure that you keep yourself motivated until you reach your goal. It's not only about the program that you are following here, it's about your life. In life, you may have so many goals to achieve. At the very beginning, you will be very motivated, but through the course, there will be times that you lose your motivation and sometimes you may give up on everything, right? Which should not happen. You have to be proactive and at the same time independent. As an individual, you have to take care of yourself. You have to be responsible for yourself. You can't say, because of this person, I failed this examination. Because of these circumstances, I was unable to attend the examination. Because of these issues, these problems I went through, I was unable to score a good mark. No, those are not really good excuses that you can produce at this stage of your life. Do you get my point? So today, we are learning how to be proactive and to be independent. Read this one. So here, of course, this lesson is going to be a lot about explanation. So introduction to proactivity and independence. Proactivity, what do you mean by proactivity? Proactivity refers to taking initiative and control over one's action. You have to take the initiative of everything. For an example, if you are working as a team, it doesn't matter whether you are the team leader or not. You have to take the initiative of the task that is assigned to you and you should be able to complete it, right? And also control over one's actions. You have to be responsible for what you are doing. You have to be accountable for what you are doing, right? And decisions and environment. මම කිව්වේ වැස්ස නිසා මේක කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. අවුව හින්දා මේක කරගන්න බැහැ. No. You have to take control of yourself. It involves anticipating challenges and acting before problems arise. Before the problem arises, you have to make sure that you have a solution for the problem. ගොඩක් අය කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? problem එක ආවම ඒකට solution එක හොයන්නේ. එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Once you start something, you have to anticipate of the problems that may rise in the future and you have to make sure before those problems arise to you, you have the solutions with you. That is how you have to plan your future, right? So what do you mean by being independent? Independence refers to the ability to think, make decisions, and act on your own without relying excessively on others for guidance, approval, or assistance. සමහරු ඉන්නවා කන්න යන්නේ දෙකට නැත්නම් කැවෙන්නේ නැහව. මේ ගිලෙන්නේ නැහැ වගේ උගුරේ පල්ලෙහාට යන්නේ නැහැ වගේ කොච්චරවත් depending on others. You have to stop this. Please stop this. ඇත්තටම dependence කියන්නේ බොරුවක්. මොකද දැන් අපි හිතමු මට ඉන්නවා යාළුවෙක්. මට එයා නැතුව කන්න බෑ. කොටින්ම කිව්වොත් වොෂ්රූම් එකට යන්නේ තතල්ලගේ. හරිද එහෙමයි. හැබැයි මම කියන්නේ ඇයි මේක බොරුවක් කියලා. එයා යනවා වෙන රස්සාවකට මම යනවා තව රස්සාවකට. මම කන්නේ නැද්ද? මම බොන්නේ නැද්ද? අනිත් වැඩේ කරන්නේ නැද්ද? This is just a lie. A lie. You have to be independent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you depend like this, in the corporate world, it's very difficult to survive. It's very difficult to survive. Okay? If you are always, I'm talking about always, right? It's not that I'm telling you not to have friends. It's not that. I also have my friends. But when it comes to taking decisions, acting upon the circumstances, you have to take the responsibility for your own. It's not that you ask each and everything from your manager. Let's say I'm referring to your manager, right? Asking each and everything from your manager. When it comes to approval, assistance, help, asking everything from your friend. No, that is not how it should be. You have to be an independent person. Do you understand? Right? So that's why being independent and proactive is very important at present. Okay. Remember the word relying excessively, right? Relying excessively, always depending on someone else. මට ඇත්තටම මගේ යාළුවෙක් හිටියා. Hitia can be our good terms, even at the moment. All the time what she says is, now for an example, අපි හිතමු exam එකක් තියෙනවා. මෙයා ඒක කරයි. මෙයා මේක කරයිනේ. Why can't you take the responsibility and do it? මෙයා ඉන්නවනේ ඉන්න බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අරයා මේ දේ කරන්න බාරගත්තනේ ඉන්න බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. Why don't you take the responsibility and be independent? That is very important, right? So relying on others excessively is not going to take you a very long way, right? On others for guidance, approval, or assistance. It emphasizes self-reliance, confidence, and accountability. If you are depending on someone else all the time, what does it show? You are not a confident person. You don't have the self-reliance. You don't trust yourself. Do you get my point? If you're always referring to your manager every time a task is assigned to you, you don't have the confidence with you to complete it. That cannot be done because not everyone will be there with you in the corporate world at every time. Okay, so self-reliance, confidence, and accountability. Together, being proactive and independent can contribute significantly to personal growth. If you are a proactive person, that means you yourself is motivated. And if you are independent, how can it help you? It will help in your personal growth. Why? Because you are a very confident individual. Even if you're, now for an example, suppose you are going to do a presentation. One of your team members does not turn up. You take the responsibility and you somehow or other take the team to present the presentation. It doesn't matter whether they come or not. You quickly go through what they have been planning to do, inform the lecturer, and you do the presentation without waiting for others to do the activity. That is how you have to be. Do you understand? අනේ විනය presentation එක එයා නැහැ අපිත් ඉවරයි ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. That is not the attitude you have to have. You have to be very positive, right? So personal growth, your personal growth is going to increase. Productivity, how about productivity? Then අපි හිතමු අපි වෙන කෙනෙක්ගෙන් හැමතිස්සෙම we are not going to depend on someone else. So how are we going to focus on our productivity? Our productivity is improving every day. Why? Because we know that it is only us who is there for ourselves. So productivity increases and success in various aspects of life. For an example, the person who does the introduction of the presentation does not turn up. You are the person who is doing the conclusion. Can't help. You have to focus on the introduction as well now because he or she has not turned up. When you do that, when you take the responsibility of doing the introduction as well, within a very short period of time, what are you going to improve? You are going to improve in various aspects in life. Time management, being accountable, taking responsibility, right? Getting ready within a very short period of time. So many skills you are going to improve. So remember, students, it's very important to be proactive and at the same time, be independent. Okay? Then, be proactive. Let's go in detail for this description. Proactivity is about taking responsibility for your actions and outcomes. You have to be responsible for what you do. And of course, you have to take the responsibility of the outcomes, whether it is positive or negative, right? Proactive individuals do not wait for opportunities to come to them. They create their own. They do not wait until the opportunities come to them. What do? They create their own opportunities and they pursue them. Anticipating challenges. If you are a proactive person, right, you anticipate your challenges. What is that? Rather than reacting to problems after they occur, proactive people foresee potential issues and take steps to prevent them. Now, for an example, let's take this. Okay. Now, the person who books this classroom, Okay, let's think that there are 70 chairs in this room, but there are 80 students to attend. හැබැයි හැමදාම attendance බලනකොට ඒ 80 ම එන්නේ නැහැ. එන්නේ 60ක් විතර. හරිද? හැබැයි 70 chairs මෙතන තියෙනවා. Right? But she should be ready. Now she is going to allocate that batch to this room. She should be ready. She should have an option. If all the 80 students turn up here, she should have an option for that as well. Do you understand? Before the problem comes, you have to be ready for that. කිසිම problem එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. Or everything is clear කියලා අපිට කිසිම decision එකක් ගන්න. Do you get my point? Now for an example, I'll give you a very good example. When it comes to doing the curriculum of CA, the new curriculum. You know, the professor who, the doctor who did that, when he was telling about his experience and everything, Dr. Sugi, he was telling us the problems that he anticipated, the challenges that he anticipated when it comes to launching the curriculum. Mama hitaගෙන හිටියේ මේ challenges what එනවා කියන launch a curriculum. Of course, those challenges have come to him. He was ready for the challenges. Do you understand? Don't think that no challenge will come to you when you take or when you become proactive. Challenges are there, but what should be there? You have to anticipate the challenges. You have to be ready for the challenges. You have to have a second plan for whatever you do. Okay? Rather than reacting to problems after they occur, proactive people foresee potential issues. They foresee, they see the future, and then take steps to prevent them. They take steps to prevent them, right? Taking initiative. Proactive individuals don't wait for others to give them directions. They take the first step and act on their ideas or goals. You may have come across people who are very dependent on you, very dependent. Even whether to turn the other page, they ask you. You have to be a person who is responsible and you have to take the initiative. Take the initiative. Be the first person to do something. Next one, planning ahead. Being proactive involves setting goals and creating strategies to achieve them. You have to be a person who is well planned. Remember, students, even if you plan, there are things that can go wrong. Mama හැමතිස්සෙම කියන දෙයක් තමයි ඔය අපි paper marking කරනකොට හැමතිස්සෙම අපි plan කරනවා හරි මේක මේ සතියේ මේ දවස් වෙනකොට ඉවර කරනවාමයි කියන්නේ. කවදාවත් අපිට ඒ වෙලාවට ඉවර කරන්න බැහැ. It always takes more time. Do you understand? ඒකයි කියන්නේ. සමහර වෙලාවට කොච්චර plan කරා. How many sacrifices you do? Things can go wrong. Right? That's why it's very important. එහෙමනම් plan නොකර කොච්චර දේවල් වැරදෙන්න පුළුවන්. That's why it's very important to plan ahead. Do you understand? Planning ahead. Being proactive involves setting goals and creating strategies to achieve them, rather than being passive or waiting for things to happen. Right? Don't wait until everything happens to you. Think what can happen to you and take immediate action for them. Problem solving. Instead of focusing on obstacles, now as I told you, problems can come to you. Even if you have anticipated the challenges, there would be challenges that you have never anticipated. You have never thought about, right? So here you will find the solution, problem solving. Instead of focusing on obstacles, proactive individuals focus on solutions. Remember now today we talked about CV writing as well. When you go to jobs, when you start doing a job, remember to be a person who always takes a solution as well with the problem. Anybody can take problems. Anybody can complain. Complain කියනක හරියටම ලේසි වැඩක්. අරක නෑ මේක නෑ මේක කරන්න බෑ මේ දේ මදි කියන complaining ඕන තරම් ඕන කෙනෙක්ට කරන්න පුළුවන්. It's very easy. But going with a solution is the most difficult task. There can be complaints, there can be challenges, but always remember when you complain something, that you also go with the solution. Complain හැබැයි මේකට අපි මෙහෙම කරමු. දැන් මෙහෙම වෙලා තියෙන එකේ කියන solution එකත් එක්ක යන පුද්ගලයෙක් වෙන්න. So here, problem solving. Instead of focusing on obstacles, proactive individuals focus on solutions. They look for ways to overcome difficulties instead of complaining about them. අයියෝ මේක වෙලානේ කියනවට වැඩිය you always try to find a solution and solve the problem. Characteristics of proactive people. Responsibility. They are very responsible. They take responsibility for their actions and decisions rather than blaming external factors. Self-discipline. They control their emotions and behavior, staying focused on long-term goals. That's what I'm saying. You start a program and then you become lazy because of the whether you don't like to come to lectures. Because of the external factors, eventually you start giving up on your goals. That's not how it should be. Don't let the external factors affect your future. Right? So you have to be self-disciplined. එකක් self-discipline එකක්. ඔය ෆෝන් එක පැය 3ක් අල්ලන්නේ නැතුව ඉන්න එක කොච්චර self-discipline එකක් කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ. ඒක මාර discipline එකක්. ඒතකොට program එකක් පටන් අරගෙන අපි හිතමු specially decrease මොකද ඒක 4 years යනවානේ. ඒතකොට ඔයගේ drop outs ලා ඉන්නවා හරියට පටන් ගන්නකොට 100ක් විතර හිටියොත් ටික දවසක් යනකොට 60ක් විතර වගේ ඉන්නේ. අන්තිමට graduate වෙන්නේ 25ක් විතර. හරි? A self-discipline එක හැමෝටම maintain කරන්න බෑ. But remember, if you are not disciplined, you will not be able to go a very long way. Right? You have to be disciplined, students. You have to be able to focus on what you are doing. It's not about, doing what your heart asks you to do. Thank you. Phone එක බලන්න, Facebook බලන්න, ඔයා ඒකම නම් කරන්නේ. You are just out of your control. That should not happen. You have to focus on what is here. That is what you call self-discipline. Self-discipline is a must, right? Optimism. What do you mean by optimism? We have discussed about this one. So they maintain a positive outlook even in the face of challenges. They are very positive about the things that happen to them, right? And time management. They prioritize tasks and manage their time effectively to avoid last-minute rushes. Always try to do the things beforehand rather than waiting until the 11th hour, right? Then, how about benefits of being a proactive person? Why should we be proactive, and what are the benefits that you will gain as the result of being proactive? Increased productivity. For an example, now that I think like 2 weeks before, can you remember, I showed you a video of a person who does not have the self-discipline. Can you remember? There were two scenarios. Was it with, waking up early in the morning and then attending exercises and all that. Can you remember the video? So there, what did we see? We saw the self-discipline of a person and a person who is out of his control, right? So increase productivity. For an example, students, now suppose you are a person who is very much addicted to scrolling Facebook, texting, and logging to Instagram and all that. Do you think that you can get rid of that even if you go for a job? No, you can't. Always what happens is that your mind says to do this without focusing on what you are assigned to do. Then what will happen? You decrease your productivity. එදා දවසට කරන්න ඕන වැඩ ටික මෙච්චරක් තියාගෙන you do what your mind says. Do you understand? So you are not proactive. Decreased productivity. But what is the benefit of being proactive? By planning ahead and taking action, proactive individuals accomplish tasks more efficiently. They are able to achieve them very efficiently. සමහර විට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් නෑ මම කොහොම හරි ඔක මැනේජ් කරගන්නවා කියලා. No. Practice is what's going to make your habits. If you make it a habit, don't ever think that you can get rid of that. So don't Let your actions become habits. Actions, habits වෙනකන් ඉන්න එපා. ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒවා අතාරින්න. Habits උනාට පස්සේ ඒවා අතාරින්න හරිම අමාරුයි. It's going to be very addictive, right? So that's why here I'm teaching you how to develop your skills. මේවා අපි එදිනෙදා ජීවිතේ මූණ පාන දේවල් ගන්නන මම උනත් සමහර විට ඒවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But I have to make sure that before it becomes a habit, I stop it. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? හැමදාම දවසේ වැඩ ටික එන්න load වෙලා what is going to happen? You are going to get stressed. Right? So that is the final outcome. And then you are depressed, you are sleep deprived, you have not slept for hours, you have deadlines coming up, your manager is scolding you, you don't have control over the task that is assigned to you. Why? At the very beginning, you should have stopped that one. No productivity at all. Okay, so please focus on that. Increase productivity. Better control over outcomes. By anticipating potential issues, proactive people can take steps to influence or control outcomes. අර අපි කියනවානේ හදිස්සියට මුකුත් කරගන්න බෑ කියලා. හදිස්සි වුණාම මුකුත් කරගන්න බෑ. කරන්න පුළුවන් එකක් කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා හදිස්සි. Therefore, ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? You are out of control. But if you plan everything beforehand, if you do your daily, or if you complete your tasks daily, you will of course have the control over your outcomes, right? And finally, personal growth. Being proactive fosters a growth mindset as individuals constantly seek ways to improve and learn. So you have ample of time to learn something new. You have ample of time to experiment things. Why? Because you have been planning and you have been doing your work accordingly. I'm not telling you not to enjoy your life. While enjoying, students, please focus on your goals in life. Okay? You have to have a good time, fun times, all that. But don't forget your goals. So this is all about being proactive. Be proactive. 5 ways to become more proactive. Don't wait for opportunities to be given to you. Create them for yourself. Invest in yourself to learn new skills and then apply your learning. Right? Give some time. You make sure to give some time to scroll Facebook, engage in social media, and all that. But think whether you are giving time to improve your skills. අදම තරම් Excel sheet එකක numbering ටිකවත් එක දවසක ඉගෙන ගන්න numbering කරන හැටිවත් ඉගෙන ගන්නවාද කියන්නේ? Give some time to improve your skills as well, right? Make commitments to do specific tasks and be honor that commitment. Sometimes you may have to stay late night and then complete something. Don't forget to honor that commitment as well. Treat yourself with some good food. Treat yourself by going out. Okay? Enjoy some good time with your friends after a hectic schedule or maybe after your exams. Give some good time to yourself as well. You don't have to work like a machine or engine, right? Honor that commitment as well. If you feel anxiety, do not dwell, take action. If you feel anxious, if you feel that things are not right, please don't worry about them. What should you do? You have to take actions to prevent that. When we feel anxious, we think of it and think of it. We don't take any action at all to prevent it. Always we dwell in that and we suffer. That's not how it should be. Take action. Identify the desired solution and then use creative thinking to develop a plan to get there. Right? So these are some of the ways that you can become proactive in your life. Okay? Then, cultivating proactivity. How to cultivate this proactivity? Make a vardhane karagana. Set clear goals. In your life, you have to have goals. Be clear about what you want to achieve and create a detailed plan of how to get there. Plan for another 1 year, for another 6 months, and think how you are going to reach there. Take initiative. So we discussed about that. Practice time management. Prioritize tasks, avoid procrastination, and stay focused on important activities. Always remember to stay focused on important activities. අපි ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට attention දෙන්නේ important නැති ඒවාට. හැබැයි important ඒවාට තමයි අපි attention දෙන්න ඕනේ හැමතිස්සෙම. Focus on solutions, not problems. I discussed that with you. Remember, proactivity and independence are not innate qualities. මේවා අපි උපතින් අරන් එන ඒවා නෙමෙයි. Innate කියන්නේ you bring those qualities, those are inborn qualities. උපතින් අරන් එන. They are not inborn qualities. They are not innate qualities, but skills that can be developed over time with practice and commitment. You have to have commitment and you have to practice these skills. Then only you will be able to become someone who is proactive. Okay, so that is about proactivity. Now we are coming to being independent. Independence is the ability to make decisions and take action on your own with minimal reliance on others. Reliance means depending on others. Minimal reliance. Okay. This concept can apply to both personal and professional contexts and is a critical aspect of adulthood and success. Then ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩි ළමයි නෙමෙයි. හැමදේම අම්මගෙන් තාත්තගෙන් parents ලාගෙන් teachers ලාගෙන් අහන කාලයක් තියෙනවා. But now you are in your adulthood. So you have to be independent of what you are doing, right? Self-reliance. Independent people trust their judgment and abilities. They are very confident about their abilities. කවදාවත් ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ මට මේක කරගන්න පුළුවන් වේද බැරි වේද no. Even if they fail at the end, at the very beginning they had the confidence to pursue it. Right? So independent people trust their judgment and abilities. They are confident in their capacity to solve problems and make decisions on their own. They are very confident individuals. Self-confidence. Independence stems from believing in your own worth and capabilities. How would you cultivate self-confidence? You believe in yourself. That is what you call self-confidence, right? Confident about yourself. It requires a sense of self-esteem and the courage to take risks. You should be a person who is always open for taking risks because remember, life is anyway not a bed of roses, right? Risks are there. So you have to be self-confident about yourself. Accountability. Independent individuals are responsible for their actions, acknowledging their successes and failures without blaming others. Most of the time, most of us, we like to take the successes to our good name. But when we fail, what do? We put the blame on others. No. You have to take the successes as well as your failures. You have to be responsible for your success as well as your failures. සමහර කියනවා ඒක මම කියන්නේ වැරද්දක් කියලා. නමුත් සමහර වෙලාවට කියනවා මෙයා හින්දා තමයි මම එක්සෑම් එක පාස් වුනේ. එහෙනම් එයා හින්දාම ෆේල් වෙච්ච අය කොච්චර ඉන්නවද? එයා හින්දා නෙවෙයි. That is because of you. Do you understand? So remember, being accountable for your failures and successes. Characteristics of independent people. Resilience. They bounce back from setbacks and continue to move forward without needing constant reassurance. What do you mean by resilience, students? The ability to absorb everything. You are resilient for everything in your life, right? Whether it is positive or negative, you always welcome the challenges. Emotional stability. They can manage their emotions without depending on others for emotional support. They are very much able to manage their emotions, right? They don't need anyone else to support them emotionally. They can control their emotions very well. Problem solving. We have discussed about this, but then I will read that. Independent individuals take the lead in finding solutions to their problems rather than waiting for others to guide them. Benefits of being independent. Empowerment. Independence empowers individuals to take charge of their own lives and make decisions that align with their values and goals. So the other thing that I want to tell you is that now, this young generation getting stressed and depressed due to external factors and people is very common these days. It's not that we don't get depressed. We do get depressed. We do get stressed, and there are nights that we have spent sleepless, right, because of the stress that we go through. But there is a tendency of this young generation that they cannot handle this stress due to external factors and mainly because of people. If you feel the only advice I give you is that if you feel those people and those external factors are creating stress to you, don't stay in that context. Remove yourself from that context and try to be alone. Do you understand? Don't try to make other people correct. Don't try to show them that you are worth it. Don't try to show them that you are a rare person that they would never find. That is not really necessary. What you have to do is, if they create stress, even let's say when it comes to a company, suppose you are really stressed and you feel that they should know the worth of yours. No, you don't have to show your worth to anybody, right? What you have to do is you have to remove yourself from such instances. So empower is independence empowers individuals to take charge of their own lives. You should be able to change your life if the circumstances are not very healthy for you, right? And make decisions that align with their values and goals. Don't get distracted from the external factors when it comes to reaching your goals. Personal growth. Independent people constantly seek to improve themselves and develop new skills. They always try to improve new skills. Why? Because they are very independent. They know that nobody comes for them. Confidence. Achieving goals on your own boosts self-confidence and sense of achievement, right? Taking the responsibility for yourself. And then freedom. Being independent allows for more freedom in how you live your life and pursue your goals. When you become independent, when you become self-confident, remember, students, you get a sense of freedom, right? Why? Because it is you for yourself. And then, finally, how to date yourself. Dating yourself. Now, normally, we date other people, right? We get into relationships with other people. We date others. But here I'm teaching you how to date yourself. Okay, how to go out, how to make you happy. Learn how to be single. It's not that you have to be single, right? I'm not telling you to not to be engaged in relationships, but give priority to yourself as well. Learn how to be single. How to avoid pressure from society. Society is there to pressurize you. You have to make sure that you are not pressured or stressed by the society, right? Why you need to practice self-love. Self-love is important. Loving yourself is important. If you don't love yourself, then what do you even love? How to live with intentions. What are your intentions? If you are associating a person, if you are doing a job, if you are following a degree, what is your intention for doing that? Know why you are doing such things, right? Have a reason. Why you need to know what you like. How being lonely is different from being alone. Remember, being lonely is different from being alone, right? So you don't have to be lonely, but spend some time being alone, right? Think of your strengths. Think what has gone wrong. Think how you can improve. Take some alone time for yourself and think. Okay, we call it me time. Okay, why you should travel solo. solo traveling. You can go on a date by yourself. You can go to a good restaurant and have a good meal by yourself. You don't need anyone else. Just your company is what matters. How to heal from past hurts. There can be so many hurts in the past. How are you going to heal from them? It's important. Why living in the moment is important. Living in the moment. ගොඩාක් තැන්වල අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් වලදී හැම මේ අද කාලේ තියෙන දෙයක් තමයි ඒ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එක එන්ජොයි කරනවට වඩා ෆොටෝ ගන්න එක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ෆොටෝ ගන්න. කොච්චර කරා. කන්නේ බොන්නේ නැහැ. ඩාන්ස් එක කරන්නේ නැහැ.
කැමත් ෆොටෝ ගන්න.
ඔව්. අපි No, what I'm saying is, students, live the moment. Live the moment. Just have some snapshots to enjoy. But more than that, enjoy the moment with your eyes and be present in the event. මොකක්ද මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකේ වෙන්නේ? කොච්චර ලස්සන දේවල් කියනවද කියන එක ඇස් දෙකෙන් විඳින්න. ඔයා එතන ඉඳගෙන අවට විඳින්න. You can take photographs as memories. She's so pissed, like she can, hit herself right now. Okay, it's right. So just take a few snapshots. It's fine, but make sure that you live the moment, right? Live the moment. That's important. Finally, includes practice review scenarios. Review the things that has happened to you and then learn lessons from them and continue. Let's see whether I have. Yeah, it's not the last one. Cultivating independence. How are you going to cultivate independence? Make decisions. Practice making decisions on your own, even if they seem small. සමහරවිට ගන්න decisions හරියට small decision එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But at the very beginning, take that decision. Take that small decision by your own. Build confidence by trusting your judgment. Be confident about your judgments. Embrace responsibility. Be a responsible person. Okay? Accept full accountability for your actions, whether the outcome is good or bad. Sometimes the outcome would be very bad. It's okay. Take the responsibility for yourself, learn from your lessons, and continue. Seek self-improvement. Continuously work on developing your skills and knowledge so you feel equipped to handle challenges independently. Skills and knowledge. What should you improve, students? Not only knowledge. Knowledge විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ improve කරන්නේ. Skills කියන එකත් improve කරගන්න. Listening, active listening is a skill. Communicating is a skill. Time management is a skill. So many skills are there. While you are improving your knowledge, make sure to improve your skills as well. And finally, be comfortable with solitude. Solitude means spending some time alone. It's okay. It's completely fine. Learn to enjoy your own company. But trust that you can handle life's challenges on your own. Okay. All right. Any questions? No? So what did you take from this lesson? Being proactive and independent. What did you take from this lesson? How to be proactive and independent. Now you have to take these lessons to your life as well, huh? You have to take these lessons to your life. You have to take these lessons to your life as well. That is why we have skills development. අනිත් ඔක්කොම subjects වල ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්න knowledge, everything, right? But in this subject, you have to learn your language. Okay? All right, everyone. I'll see you next week then. Have a good week. Have a fruitful week and go home safe.
Bye. Next week, assignment.
Yeah, CV writing assignment next week. Okay, my students who are joining online, I'll see you next week then. Have a good week and stay safe until we meet again and be ready for the assignment as well.